Hey guys, All in Crypto here, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another YouTube video. Today we're going to be covering some recent Cardano news that took place on Sunday night, where essentially around or over 50% of the Cardano nodes that validate the network and produce blocks for the underlying blockchain that Cardano runs on, Ouroboros, actually suffered an outage. Now, I've had so many people DM me saying, what's happened? Should we be concerned? What's going on? And we're going to break it all down in this video. And actually, this taking place and how Cardano dealt with it is nothing short of impressive. Because let me tell you right now, if you saw over 50% of nodes that validate other networks go down, it would be more than chaotic. But actually, Cardano, being this kind of very well thought out blockchain, to say the least, dealt with it like an absolute champ. Within literally seconds, had sort of restored itself back to normal, and there was no blocks missed, and it's back to and never wasn't working. So, you know, I don't know whether it's because maybe Charles Hoskinson has speculated that he might buy Coinbase, CoinDesk, but they certainly wrote quite a nice article explaining exactly what happened, or trying to explain what happened. But we're going to be hearing it from the horse's mouth, which of course is IOG, their SPO announcements. We'll dive into this. We'll also look at actually what took place and go over. I found actually a reply in this comment pretty good in terms of, you know, explaining the situation, the gravity or the lack of gravity to it, and where we are today, and everything looks good. I mean, I do run a stake pool. We largely weren't affected with this. We do have three. We have a block producer and we have three sort of relays. So one offline, two online. And by offline, I mean it's not public. I should say not public. And essentially, you know, I think only one of our nodes was affected. The other two were running just fine. And it's just going to be a case of restarting it. Anybody who is looking to delegate their Cardano and support a small, independently ran survivor of the bear market, then please consider my pool. All in is the ticker. But let's get into it, guys. Let's read this article and then let's go through it all. And then we can finish off on a little bit of price analysis. Those of you that watched my last two Cardano videos will know that we actually bought Cardano for the first time in essentially over a year, or just under a year, I should say, on or around the 5th of January, something that we discussed in the community and then, of course, publicly came out and announced it. And it feels absolutely great to be an investor in a technology that I believe in over the long-term time horizon. And actually, despite this, I actually think 100% of the Cardano nodes could have got taken out and they could have missed blocks and the price largely wouldn't be affected. And the reason being is because there's a huge disconnect between the price and the fundamentals of the blockchain and what's going on. I mean, Solana is a perfect example of that. But let's cover it all, guys. So Cardano network quickly recovers after brief node outage. A short-lived outage that affected over 50% of the network has automatically solved within minutes on Sunday. Cardano network saw a brief outage on Sunday that was automatically fixed within minutes with no singular root cause determined as of writing time. Developers wrote in a GitHub post. Several developers reported the error on GitHub, but said all nodes were restarted automatically. Block producing nodes were temporarily affected. A Telegram broadcast message shows nodes on network stakeholders that maintain the process transaction on any blockchain and are very essential to any network's upkeep. There was a brief period of degradation. Rick McCracken, a developer building stake tools for Cardano, tweeted, "Most nodes impacted had gracefully recovered. No network restart was required. Blockchain nodes have previously gone offline on networks such as Solana, with one such incident causing the entire Solana network to essentially shut down for over 7 hours last May, as Coinbase reported." And then it basically goes on to say that this has been fixed. So I don't know whether it's because maybe they know Charles Hoskinson might be buying them, that they're now coming out and writing very, non-biased. I'm sure maybe a year ago this would have been Cardano network broken or something like that, and now it's very casting Cardano in a very good light. And we already knew this anyway. We aren't a Cardano maximalist by any stretch of the imagination. However, we think the design of Cardano is a beautiful one. I've spoke to computer scientists, and we have one coming on the show to talk to us about potentially implementing other languages onto Cardano, who has, when I asked him why Cardano, the answer that he gave really just filled me with pure excitement for this blockchain and the future of it. And believe me, I don't have a technical background. I have a friend of mine that helps me, who is technical, who monitors my stake pool and does all the sort of technical side of things. But talking to computer scientists, that say, look, the papers that have been written are beautiful. If you can get this into practice, you've got an underlying blockchain, Cardano, the consensus, that you can run and may become the choice for people to build on top of, whether that be sidechains, whether that be dApps, whatever it may be. The possibilities are endless, and we're really only coming around or starting this journey of where I believe Cardano is going. So I'm a big fan of it. So this was officially from IOG, SPO announcement. Some of you will be aware of an incident last night at approximately 9 a.m. UTC between block, I'm not even going to try and say that number, and another block, which caused approximately 50% of Cardano nodes to disconnect and restart. The impact relay nodes are block producing nodes. So again, I think only one of my relay nodes got hit, but it's just a case of restarting it. Edge nodes appear to have been unaffected. This appeared to have been triggered by a transient anomaly causing one of two reactions in the nodes. Some disconnected from a peer, other through an exception and restarted. Such transient issues, even if all the nodes were affected, were considered in the design of the Cardano node and consensus. The system behaved exactly as expected. So it's doing what it should. The beauty of the way that Cardano has gone to market is it's put in the groundwork before releasing the product. Unlike Solana and many of these other blockchains, it's why it's going to be it's why it's such a titan, and actually, in my opinion, is going to be one of the leading layer ones in the crypto space. And we did do a video where we spoke about sidechains and just the revolutionary aspects of sidechains, because sidechains will essentially, first of all, I think it's how Cardano is going to scale to, if it ever gets to 1 billion users. I also think it's how interoperability may be facilitated in a trustless manner. And there's just so many possibilities that can come from this. And the great thing about having something as secure as ADA, that's had no downtime, it's had issues that it's dealt with robotically, essentially, in a kind of, there hasn't need to be this central point where you stop the network, start it like Solana or these other blockchains. It's a blockchain that fills with excitement. So while we backed it, we get a lot of stick for backing ADA. I really couldn't care. I'm a fan of Cardano, and I believe in the long-term trajectory of it. And I think it's going to really prove itself as a strong and secure. What's the point in having this trustless technology if it's not secure and you can't trust it? So it might have a trustless element, but you can't trust that it's going to work. The trust comes in many forms. So this is essentially what happened. You had this big dip. You can see 100% of nodes. And then you dipped round about to the 40 or just above the 40%. And now, of course, there's still some nodes that need restarting. Because so we've still got to restart one node, but I have 3 relay nodes and 1 block producer. 2 are public, 1's private. So the public can't view it. It's to prevent if anybody did try and act maliciously. But essentially, we're running just fine. And that's why we have as many relay nodes as we do. Because if there's an issue with 1, if there's an issue with 2, we try and maximize uptime and really try and be as formidable as we can, helping to secure the Cardano network. This is why, even though actually it's not really been that profitable at all, unprofitable in some cases, given the amount of stake that we have, and we sometimes miss blocks, to run a node, to validate the Cardano network, we continue to do so because I really do have a vested interest and feel privileged to actually be somebody who's helping to validate the network. So this was a tweet that I found interesting. Most of Cardano network stopped and needed rebooting earlier. So a little bit dramatic. I think maybe this was trying to get a point across. Not sure who this individual is. Josephine, I'm sure, trying to make Cardano better. I'm absolutely on board with that. And then it spoke about a solution that was put forward last year at the back. Oh, sorry, not last year. Back end of 2022. And actually, there was a reply from Hosky. I'm sure you guys are very familiar with Hosky. That I thought was rather a good one. So this is 100% not what happened. At least educate, yeah. And then he basically goes on to say, the network was never stopped. Did nodes fail? Yes. Did some nodes need restart? Yes. Did the network stop producing blocks? No. And that's what a blockchain's there to do, guys. The issue, TX never made it onto the blockchain. It was in the mempool, hence why only nodes with active connection needed a restart. And this is from Conrad, who's another prominent Cardano figure. Precisely this. Was the network degraded? Yes. Did it remain operational? Yes. Think of it as a multi-engine aircraft. I think this is a brilliant analogy. That can fly even if it loses 50% of its engines. So much so that there are blocks second apart from each other, even during the event that took place last night. So rest assured, guys, and it's why I wanted to do this video, that Cardano ran, despite a 50% outage in its nodes, plus 50% outage in its nodes, seamlessly and flawlessly, and exactly how it was supposed to. There wasn't a block missed. And there hasn't been for nearly 4 years. Or sorry, not nearly 4 years. For as long as Ouroboros has been, I think it's three-ish years. Can't quite remember. I could probably tell you looking at the price. You know, Cardano had its upgrade around about here for block consensus. So about 3, just above years, it's been producing blocks without a hitch. And it continued to do so even under stressful circumstances. This is why I'm backing Cardano, guys. Issue solved. You know, I still need to restart one of my nodes. And we're back to business. You know, we can still produce blocks. Nothing really was massively affected. Again, anybody considering delegating, you know, we want to be a sort of a state pool that's here to stay and is going to be here running the Cardano network for the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. You know, it's something I'm very dedicated to. So we have given you price analysis. I don't really want to dive too much into price. We can really focus more on fundamentals. We will let you know where we're buying and selling. And we have done that. You know, we made a video not that long ago, or over a week ago now, essentially saying that we had bought. You know, we had discussed buying in a community, which of course is my Patreon, not a shill. You don't have to join it. It's not for everybody. But essentially we had looked at buying it on the 5th, which is down here. And of course it's done quite well then. And I do actually think, and we've done quite a lot of Bitcoin TA on the fact that we believe that there are more reasons to be bullish on Bitcoin. And we took a non-bearish approach on the 1st of January than there are bearish. You guys make your own financial decisions and choices. If you want to invest in Cardano, that's your own decision to make, not mine. All I'm saying is that we took a position in it at the start of the month, and we will look to add to that throughout the year. And us selling Cardano back when we did. All the videos are still up, even the ones where I was calling for higher prices here. By the way, guys, we got many things wrong. The main thing I got wrong was how 2022 or the last bull market was going to end. And actually, that's what's led me to maybe be ahead of the curve into what may be an ending bear market, or at least close to it. All I've got for you in this video, guys. If you've enjoyed the content, like is always appreciated. So is a comment, and I look forward to seeing each and every one of you in the next YouTube video. Have a magical Monday, guys. See you in the next one.